Okay, match number five, India versus Australia. What a contest it was. Like, as in, you can't expect anything less in a Chennai match. And I love low scoring matches because you start to see how strong the bowling lineup is from both the sides. And that makes tournaments really interesting. In fact, a lot of commentators say this is just a common saying now, like bowlers win you tournaments, and batsmen, they probably just win your matches. Okay, so here are my top 10 moments from the India versus Australia match. Let's do this. Number 10, this wasn't the most seamer friendly pitch. Hardik was clearly targeted by Warner, by Smith. I saw some fantastic shots of his bowling, and it was a very hot day in Chennai, right? And India's support staff were waiting with a bunch of wet towels, I guess, and ice water and whatnot. And so the same time, I felt like that one of the teams would collapse, but obviously they're trained for this. And you often see Warner just chilling under an umbrella on a chair in the in the middle of the pitch, especially during drink breaks. I think I've seen him do that even in Gabba, if I'm not wrong, last summer. Yeah, maybe Gabba, but it was a hot day. Now let's talk about number nine. Mitchell Marsh drops Virat Kohli's catch. I think that's where I felt India won the match. It was clear, as it did feel like Alex Carey could have reached a little faster, but you never know. You never know with these things. I think Marsh called it, from at least what I hear and the highlights that I've seen just recently. But I think Alex Carey was just a distraction. He was just in his eye line while he was trying to get the ball, and Marsh could have been distracted. So tragedy for the Australians, but um, India would have been 20 for 4 against Australia on a Chennai pitch. Um, Saved, I guess. But yeah, they didn't catch it, and the rest is history. Number 8. Australia had a lot of boo boos on the field, as in they just messed up big time. I think they missed about 6 to 7 catches in the entire match, and that is just despicable, man. Come on, we look up to Australia for fielding, right? And if they miss catches, what are the rest of the teams going to do, right? So you never expect that from Australia. And I've been watching Australian matches very closely since the Ashes. At least I've watched all the Ashes matches. I'm a huge Australian supporter. I love the Australian team, and to see them misfield like that was just tragic. And I wish that it'll change very quickly, because in no time you'd be like somewhere in the middle of the tournament, and the blink of an eye, it's ending. So they have to do something about it really quickly. But the good part was David Warner shows everybody how it's done. Like, he takes that fantastic catch, and then he salvaged the entire team's fielding today. And I think that served as a little bit of inspiration. And then we saw a few more good catches after that. But I felt like it was too late. It was too late. So, number 7, the Indian spinners have to get some credit. Of course, the pitch was made for spinners, but at the same time, Zampa couldn't get a lot out of it. But Kuldeep and Jadeja made the middle overs a lot interesting. And it's the trend of 50 over matches, right? Like the first 10 overs during the power play, you get something out of the pitch. It's a new ball. The batsmen have something to tonk. And then after that, it kind of slows down, especially the middle overs, maybe after like 15 or 18th over till the 40th over. Things slow down generally. That's the boring part of the match. But India have Jadeja and Kuldeep, both extremely nimble with their fingers, and at the same time, they now have Ashwin, who was a last minute addition, and of course he will play against Australia. Like, I think the last World Cup, was it 2011 World Cup? He only played two matches. He only played two matches. It was against Australia and West Indies. So this time there's no West Indies, so now he's just playing against Australia. So interesting, right? So that ball that there was one ball that Ashwin bowled to Smith. It was a googly. I think it missed the stumps or something, but that was just the oh shit moment right there. So let's watch that and then come back. Second, Kuldeep to Warner. What a classic delivery. Warner trying to loft it past the bowler, and somehow I think he just scuffed the pitch a little bit and it just went right into Kuldeep's hands, and Kuldeep kisses the ball and waves goodbye to Warner. Next, we saw the classic Jadeja dismissal. Okay, next. We saw a classic Jadeja dismissal when he took out Smith. I think Cricket for some commentator said a lapse in concentration. But come on, you could be fooled by that ball any day. Like it was just beautiful ball, just hitting the off stump, like kisses the off stump goodbye. And you could see that Smith was just stranded there. He was smiling because he was like, well, I didn't see that coming. So well done. And also going back to Kuldeep, he had like he got two important wickets and two hitters mainly. David Warner and Glenn Maxwell. Glenn Maxwell is not an every game player, but he is dangerous, towards the end. In fact, probably knock off the entire total in 20 or 10 overs. But thanks to Kuldeep, we got both the danger men. Number six. I have been fawning over KL Rahul's form from the time he came back, and he's doing so well. There's just one shot that made it to the countdown for me. His late cut, I think, is the best in the business. It's because he seems to pick up the shorter length, or even just, you know, just he does it a lot quicker than the other batters, and he plays it very late. Um, and I was expecting Zampa to put him in a tough spot, but he couldn't. He just couldn't. At one point, Zampa decided to one up Rahul on the late cut with a googly, hoping that the ball will start spinning into him, might get a drag out of him or something. But Rahul once again picked up the length very early, picked the way it'd be turning to, and tapped it on just on top of the bounce to find another boundary. And after two short balls, went for runs. Zampa just went back, tossed up a variety of balls, and ended up overcooking it. And Rahul just nailed the full toss as well, and it just went on and on. So good to have KL Rahul back on the team, and I cannot wait to see how many more runs he scores throughout the tournament. Josh Hazelwood, or Hazel Good, he sends out Rohit Sharma, Shreyas Iyer, and Ishan Kishan to the pavilion at 0. This is the first match in India's entire history of playing ODIs that the top three of their four batsmen, bagged ducks, right? And this could be problematic. I was kind of hoping that Rohit Sharma would get out to Stark because, left arm fast bowlers or seamers, but this time it was Hazelwood. But so that's a cause of concern. Like, I'm sure Rohit Sharma, knowing what he did in the last World Cup, something happens to him during the ICC tournaments, but I really hope that he just turns the tide. But like, you have to give credit to Hazelwood for these wickets, and yeah, he was just fantastic. It's interesting that Australia was invited to play in Chennai, especially in days when it doesn't feel like matches are now designated and not drawn like older days. And like, for example, India and Pakistan is now hosted by the largest stadium in the country, so that they get a lot of people to fill those seats. And they actually pulled off and invited Australia to play in Chennai, a team that's full of fast bowlers and seamers. And we're missing a lot of spinners. It's just Zampa. Although I do like his bowling, he does give away a lot of runs. But there was Ashtonega. I mean, I wish Lion was around, but Lion's not around. But anyway, it's It's just fascinating. The previous World Cups, I remember they would just draw chits, and then that's how the um, contests and the venues were decided. But now it just feels like it's been done strategically. But I'm not getting into conspiracies, it's just thought. But let's move on. And number four, KL Rahul gets another mention in my top 10 because 97. What a great innings this guy had today. Had such a great day. Kohli was out at 85. We'll come to that next. Their partnership itself. But he looks sorted. Like he looks ready. He looks primed for this World Cup. And he was on 91 when India needed five to win. He went for that extra cover drive, and he wanted a four out of that ball that he hits. Like, think he just goes over the covers, and then he wanted to get a four, like a one bounce or a two bounce four, but it was a six. He's the first man in history who was actually disappointed that he won the match, but this guy was disappointed because he didn't get 100 and he should have got 100. He toiled there. He toiled there along with Kohli, and I feel like KL Rahul deserved that 100. I wish it was a one bounce. And one ball wouldn't make a difference. I know internet's already chatting about it a lot, thinking about personal stats, but personal stats are good, right? Like it makes the team stronger. And India is all about personal stats. Let's just look at our history and look at our batsmen and bowlers. We do love cricketers who have big stats, so I don't mind KL Rahul getting 100 in a match where we won with what, 55 balls to spare or something, or 50 balls to spare. So I think it's fine. I mean, I think we went into the 41st or 42nd over. So it was fine. We had enough balls, and he should have got his 100. But anyway, he walks off unbeaten at 97. Fantastic innings by KL Rahul. Number three is KL Rahul and Kohli's partnership. How, like, after that shocker of an opening, it takes a lot of teams, even India, to recover from it. Rahul and I think Rahul and Virat Kohli actually did a very good job. They complemented each other so well. They were quick between the wickets. They found gaps while scoring, and they were just encouraging each other to keep the pressure off. By if like somebody if Kohli was going slow, I could see Rahul was hitting the fours and vice versa. So it was just a perfect sync. I love watching good partnerships like this, especially in the middle overs. And I love the long game. I don't know why people have been complaining about the 50 overs, but this is it. This is what 50 overs is all about. When your initial wickets crash, what are you going to do as a middle order batsman? And watching those middle order innings slowly build, a total, that's what I want to see. And that's why I love the 50 over game. But yes, they built how many? 165 runs together, and everything India missed in the with the opening pair, they just made up for it. Second, Jasprit Bumrah is back. I could just watch this guy bowl every single ball, whether it's a dot ball, a wicket ball, even balls that people hit him for sixes. I want to watch this guy ball every single ball. I don't want to miss a single ball by this guy. Like, and the way he dismisses Marsh in the beginning was, so the three balls are like coming in, and then the fourth ball, he just slightly pushes it outside off, and the breakthrough happens. It's such a Bumrah moment. He doesn't go searching for wickets. All he does is bowl ball after ball that can't be turned into runs. I think he goes for a lot of these good length balls so that they get him a lot of dot balls, and he succeeds most of the time. Marsh was like, I think after five balls, he was at zero. He wasn't getting any release. He saw one that was a hint just wider of the off stump than it's general. It was just maybe unusual for him when he was batting it, and then it bounced a little bit extra, surprised Marsh, and cramped him. He just nicks it, and he's caught in the slip. Number one. This is a surprising one for me. Uh, Before the World Cup, everybody is talking about India's batting. Like Shubman Gill is going to be the prince of this World Cup. If Sachin Tendulkar, Virat Kohli did it in the last World Cup, and I mean the 2011 World Cup, or if Virat Kohli and Rohit Sharma did it in the 2019 World Cup, this was Shubman Gill's tournament. Like he was the prince that was promised for all of us, and unfortunately was not available today. So Ishan Kishan walks in. Uh, Even then, we expected like a lot of good batting from India. But what surprised me, I know a lot of pundits weren't, but what surprised me as a common fan was it was not about the batting, it was all about the bowling. And it's just, um, do they do they look like threatening or what? And they haven't even brought in Shami yet, which is another surprising point. I get it. Like they replaced Shami's spot and they put Ashwin in there, completely justifiable. But Shardul Thakur, I don't know. I mean, I love him and Tess is a great bowler, great tail ending batsman. But I don't know how many more batsmen do we need? I think there's a good batting lineup that we have. And it's their job to hold the fort. Like you can't just steal another bowler's space. And I feel that Shami is a must. This guy was really good in the last World Cup. You can't miss Shami. And he's so dangerous on the Indian soil. So please, please, I hope that the selectors bring him back in the next match. But now coming back to this match again, um, like they looked like really exciting, and it worked. Like I think I was saying just a minute ago that this is how a 50 over match would be, right? Like as in the middle overs will slow down, but for that we have exciting options. We have Jadeja, we have Kuldeep, we have Ashwin, and if Shami comes back, we'll have Shami, and they will get the job done and just speed up the innings either by taking wickets or just slow them down completely, right? So this match for today, it was a Chennai's pitch is known to be like a black soil pitch, and it tends to produce a lot of slow and a lot of turners. And I thought like Australia can bank on Zampa for like 10 overs, and he's one of the highest wicket takers in their squad. But it just didn't work out for him. But for Indian spinners, it just worked really well. So that just shows that skill gap and the skill advantage that India has. I guess it's the home advantage, and that's normal. And then finally, of course, Bumrah is back. Bumrah is back. I cannot repeat that. I just cannot wait to see him. I think he'll be like one of the highest wicket taker in this World Cup. Fingers crossed. But I do want to see him ball every single ball. Okay. Before we go, I have a dishonorable mention that the streaker Javo is back. Thankfully, he was not nude. Thank God. Like nobody wants to see you naked, Javo. I didn't know about this guy. I think I saw him during that England tour, and then I forgot about it. Or was it Australian? I don't remember. But after that, like I don't know about this guy. So I went and Googled. He's in a football match. He's in a cricket match. This guy somehow scores the jerseys. I mean, they're all available in the market. Wears them and just stands in line for national anthems. What the hell? Like, how does he manage to, escape the security? And in this case, this guy is known as a repeat offender. And how did he get out of the country? And how did he get into the country? How did he get into the match? He should be banned by ICC by now. But shitty stunts, just gimmicks, and just trying to get some attention. What an idiot. So yes, dishonorable mention. And with that, we'll end the review. See you in the next match. Cut.